So Dawntrail is only a few months away, and I've seen people ask a lot on how to best prepare, or what do I do to get prepared for Dawntrail. So in this video, I want to go over 5 things that I think are the most important things you should do to be best prepared for Dawntrail when it does come out in a few months. So with that said, number 1, I think what we should all be doing, and this is a personal preference thing, your bags. I think it is important to organize and clean up your bags. That includes your chocobo saddlebag, your retainers. Try to get all that, organized, or delete what you don't have, what you don't need. Like a lot of these cards you claimed, you just toss them, clear these out as best you can. But I would hold on to any dyes you have and materia, because those will probably sell pretty well on the market board once everything, launches and stuff. Materia especially, I actually keep my materia and sell it when I get like about a stack of 10 or so, 5 or 10. I'll sell them on the market board. But yeah, so you want to clean up your bags, get that organized and taken care of. Don't be a mess, okay? Speaking of your bags, when you get a chance, I think it is important to stock up on things like food and cordials and stuff like that. So when the new level cap gets to 100 in Dawntrail, you can eat your food. You'll get 3% bonus XP. You'll also get some stat boosts, stuff like that. I'm not certain on this, but I imagine that once everybody starts playing and stuff again, the costs of cordials and food and stuff like that it's going to go up drastically, right? So just come to the market board, grab what you can get. Just kind of stock up here and there. You don't need a crazy amount, but get about 50 or so things of food, 50 cordials or whatever, so you can do your crafting, your gathering. You got that taken care of on that end, and you got some saved up for leveling your jobs and stuff like that, and just to have the bonus stats for increased damage and skill usage and all that stuff. And another thing I think you should do is, once you kind of are done with like all the story stuff and you're just kind of like leveling and all that, what I would recommend doing is going over to Aether and farming, like get all of your tomestones of Causality and Comedy. So you'll want to have these, the Causality and the tomestones of Comedy. The Comedy ones are the ones you want, but you get a weekly cap of 900. When you go to Aether, got your map. You go to this person up here. Let's give me a second. Let's go to her. Causality, Disciple of War. If you do Dark Knight, go to armor, this stuff you can trade in your green ones, the Causality ones, which you get a pretty good amount of these. These are pretty easy to come by, at least for me. I feel like they are. But this will give you item level 620 gear, which is pretty decent, right? But once you get this stuff, and if you have it, the Comedy, whoops, that was the wrong one. Go to the Comedy ones. These are the ones that are kind of hard to come by. They have the 900 cap per week, so it does take a lot longer to get this stuff. This gives you eye level 650 if you look over to this side over here, which is pretty good. If I'm not mistaken, I think the current max eye level is 660 or 665, I believe. This is the best I believe you can get without doing the insane high tier end game dungeons, which are they are very hard to do. And unless you have a full group of people, you probably won't get them done. If you want to try it, go for it. But they are rough. Yeah, see, this stuff is 660, and I think you can level this up one time, and it'll make it 665 or 670. I'm not sure which one. I'm pretty sure it's 665 unless they changed it in an update recently. But yeah, come here, farm out your Causality and your Comedy. To do that, you'll need to be level 90, and then just do your dailies and stuff like that. You'll get these Causality, Comedy. You get a good chunk. Like I said, the Comedy ones, the red ones, they cap at 900 a week, which is unfortunate. But the green ones, there's no cap. They just have, you can only carry 2,000 at a time. Also, same with Comedy, but it's much harder to cap those out. Another piece of advice I can give you, and this is just like, this is nothing for like the game or nothing like that. When Dawntrail does drop, just keep in mind, be patient, because there's going to be an insane amount of people playing the game again. Queue times to get in the game are going to be extremely long. Hopefully not as bad as Endwalker. If I remember Endwalker correctly, it was pretty rough, but hopefully it won't be too bad. But there will be queue times to get into the game. But the good side, or the good part about it being full and high queue time, once you do get in, doing stuff like dailies and dungeons and all that stuff shouldn't take that long because everybody's in playing, leveling and stuff like that. So it takes a long time to get in, but once you do get in, leveling or queuing up for things in the game will be won't take as long. So just keep that in mind. Just be patient. And speaking on, you know, Dawntrail launching and queue time and all that stuff, while you're playing in dungeons and stuff like that, be sure to be respectful and not spoil anything like stories, trials, dungeons, and like that. I found this on online. I think it was Reddit or it was somewhere in a forum or something. So when you're like referring to like trials and dungeons and stuff like that, you just kind of say trial 1, trial 2, dungeon 1, dungeon 2, things like that. So just keep that in mind, and that way you don't spoil anything for anybody that takes longer to get to where you are in the story. We don't want anybody to have a bad experience or get ruined on story stuff. That's never fun. The most important advice I can give you for preparations for Dawntrail is to make sure that you have all of your Aether Currents, right? You want to make sure you have all of these completed, because I'm sure you'll come back here at some point in Dawntrail to some of these locations, probably at least here in Endwalker stuff maybe. And having the ability to fly is a complete game changer. So you'll want to do your Aether Currents, right? Make sure you have I think every area has 5 you can find on the ground. And then there's a bunch of quests you can do. I'm sorry, there's 5 quests you can do, and there's a bunch you can find on the ground. This is for Endwalker, but everything before that, they drastically decrease the amount you need, so it's not as much of a grind to do. So there's still 5 quests, but everything, all 3 pages before Endwalker, there's only 4 on the ground that you need to go actually look for. So while you're like running around in Dawntrail, have your little compass here. I believe this is in your, where is it at? Key items, which is, right? I lied, it's not key items. It is actually collections. Take your Aether Current compass and put that bad boy down here. Just as you're running around through Dawntrail, just kind of pop it, and if you got some currents near you, just run over and grab them. It'll make your time doing it later much easier, more enjoyable. It's not so much of a drag. A little tip that I just actually thought of is when a new expansion drops, you can expect to see loads of characters gathered around NPCs. So like, I'll use this, and there's not a lot of people here, but if there's like a lot of people here and you're having a hard time clicking on this NPC, if you go to numpad and you press 0, it will highlight the character for you, and then press it again, and it'll you know, like, I guess do the action command for it, so it opens it up, so you don't have to like struggle with like, I don't want to look a Bud King, get out of here, you know. You just go this, you just press 0, 0, and then boom, is there, and then it makes things much easier whenever you're trying to get around loads of people, because it gets rough. That is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it took so long for me to get back to it. I've been spring break happened, then I got sick, and then we had a gigantic storm hit the area, and there was no power, and it was rough. So there's like 8 tornadoes hit around in my area. It was wild. Apocalyptic things happened. It was insane. But be sure to like, subscribe for more Final Fantasy 14 content and RPG stuff in general. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.